In December 2025, India's fast-growing aviation sector encountered a rare and sobering disruption. The country's aviation regulator ordered IndiGo Airlines, India's largest carrier, to reduce its flights by 5%. At first glance, 5% may appear modest. But in a country operating one of the world's busiest domestic aviation networks, that reduction translated into thousands of canceled and rescheduled flights, affecting passengers across hundreds of cities. For millions of travelers, the disruption was immediate. Holiday plans collapsed. Business schedules were thrown into chaos. Tourism-dependent regions felt the shock within days. IndiGo, long considered a model of operational efficiency, found itself at the center of an unprecedented scheduling crisis. In early December 2025, India's aviation regulator issued a clear directive. IndiGo Airlines must cut its scheduled flights by 5%. The order followed mounting evidence of operational strain, including crew shortages, scheduling failures, and cascading delays that overwhelmed the airline's systems. Regulators cited safety, reliability, and passenger protection as central concerns. The goal was not punishment, but stabilization. By reducing flight volume, authorities aimed to give IndiGo time to recalibrate schedules, restore operational discipline, and prevent further disruption across the network. But the decision had immediate consequences. Thousands of flights were canceled or consolidated. Airports scrambled to manage congestion. Passengers faced uncertainty across domestic routes. IndiGo is not just another airline. It is the backbone of India's domestic aviation system. By December 2025, IndiGo accounted for over half of India's domestic air traffic, operating one of the largest single airline fleets in the world. Its low-cost model helped democratize air travel, allowing millions of first-time flyers to travel by air. When IndiGo stumbles, the entire system feels it. Regional connectivity suffers. Tourism flows slow. Business mobility declines. This is why the regulator's intervention was so significant. It wasn't merely about one airline. It was about systemic risk. At the heart of the crisis was a scheduling failure. As travel demand surged in late 2025, IndiGo aggressively expanded flight frequency, stretching crews, aircraft, and ground operations. Several factors converged. Pilot and crew fatigue concerns, aircraft maintenance bottlenecks, tight turnaround times, weather-related disruptions. When even minor delays occurred, the system lacked resilience. Flights backed up, crews timed out, aircraft were stranded away from base hubs. The result was a cascading failure, where one disruption triggered dozens more. In highly optimized systems, efficiency can become fragility. The scale of disruption was enormous. Over the weeks following the regulator's order, millions of passengers experienced cancellations, delays, or forced rebookings. For many travelers, alternative flights were unavailable, especially on high-demand routes. Refunds and compensation became contentious issues. Passengers reported long wait times, confusing communication, and limited assistance during peak disruption periods. For a nation increasingly reliant on domestic air travel, the crisis exposed vulnerabilities in consumer protection mechanisms. India's aviation rules mandate compensation and assistance during cancellations, but enforcement remains uneven. Passengers are often unaware of their rights. Airlines face logistical challenges during mass disruptions. The IndiGo crisis reignited debate over whether India's consumer protection frameworks are strong enough for a rapidly expanding aviation market. As flight volumes grow, so does the responsibility to protect travelers. IndiGo's reduction created space for competitors. Rival airlines increased capacity on key routes. Fares fluctuated. Market share dynamics shifted. For smaller carriers, the disruption was both opportunity and challenge, as they struggled to scale quickly without creating similar risks. The episode underscored the dangers of market concentration. India's aviation growth has been spectacular, but growth without oversight invites risk. The regulator's intervention highlighted the delicate balance between encouraging expansion and enforcing safety standards. As airlines scale, regulators must evolve with stronger data oversight, crew monitoring, and operational audits. India is projected to become one of the world's largest aviation markets. Rising incomes, urbanization, domestic tourism growth, but infrastructure, staffing, and regulation must keep pace. The IndiGo crisis was not a failure of demand, but of readiness. IndiGo's 5% flight reduction was a wake-up call. For airlines, growth must be sustainable. For regulators, oversight must be proactive. For passengers, awareness of rights is essential. India's aviation story remains one of opportunity, but opportunity requires resilience. Understanding these challenges is critical, not just for India, but for every fast-growing aviation market worldwide. For deeper analysis on global business risks, aviation economics, regulatory policy, visit nexusinsight.org. Subscribe.